We give grades for the Cubs' first half. We preview the Bears' edge rushing room. And is Patrick Kane coming back to Chicago?
Yeah, Northside noise, Shot City day, Joey and Sam, lock it in, wind blow all the spin, come talk, yeah, tap in, hit with a heartbeat, couple quick.
Welcome to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. We're breaking down the biggest stories, biggest games, and all things Chicago sports. If it's happening in Chicago, we're talking about it. Let's get into it, Sam. We have a packed show, really, ahead of us after a brief 2-week hiatus as I was out of town. But we are back and ready to roll for a pretty big episode. We're going to be giving grades for the Cubs' first half, for breaking down each starting player, giving grades, and then talking about Patrick Kane potentially coming back to Chicago. And we will be previewing our next position group for the Bears, and that would be the thin edge rushing room. But we start with the Chicago Cubs, Sam. I kind of want to do this starting with position players and then working down towards rotation and then bullpen. I thought it was a good segment to do, just to give grades, kind of compare each other, see what we're thinking for each guy. I think that'd be smart because it's been a eventful first half, to say the least. It's been a roller coaster of a ride.
That might be a more positive outlook than what I was kind of thinking, but
I mean, it's been crazy.
Hey, Bruce. Shout out Bruce Levine, man. He kind of hit it on the head with that one.
Bruce Levine. Hey. Sometimes you get mistaken for different apps. I don't know how you mistake Twitter for iMessage, but here we are.
It's an old person's mistake right there.
I've known Bruce Levine for a few months. I've talked to him. Nice guy. But Twitter is not his strong suit, to say the least. I don't think he's gotten a tweet with good grammar, none of that. I don't think he's gotten a clean tweet off in a very long time.
Since Nam, dude.
Let's get into it, Sam. Let's start. We can go around the infield first, and then head to the outfield, and then go with the pitchers. Let's start with Carson Kelly. I'm gonna give him a B plus. I think the expectations and these grades go off of expectations that we had for this player back in March. So, I would give Carson Kelly a B plus. I think he's definitely exceeded expectations for what we've expected this year. Sam?
Yeah, similar to me, I have Carr slotted in at a B. This is because I just think he's one of like the premier kind of glue guys on our team. Take him away, you really kind of feel his lost presence, I guess, because we are thin at catcher right now. Outside of Cars, there's really no one else like Amaya. I guess we can wait until we get to Amaya, but Cars, I gave him a B. 273 average. He's doing exactly what we want Cars to do. Obviously, the slug is down from where he was at this point last year, but at this point last year, like his start of the season last year was absurd. I mean, the cycle out in Sacramento against the A's, like he just had a red hot start to the year. Our whole catcher room did last year as a whole. So naturally, we were kind of expecting this regression. But still with the regression, like he's hitting 273, like I said, and he's getting on base, I'd say he's one of the more reliable guys in our lineup to
for sure.
force a walk and get on base. So
For sure.
Carson, I've got him at a B.
Okay. Miguel Amaya, we can keep it short on him. He's been. I'm going to give him a D minus.
Yeah, I've got the same D minus.
I just think
He's just not an MLB catcher.
no, he's not a starter. He's not a starting catcher in the MLB. I really would have hoped he would have made that jump this year, and we just haven't seen it offensively. And he's great defensively, but he's not an MLB starting catcher.
And I feel like ABS kind of took away from a little bit of his defensive value because he was really
Sure.
good at obviously stealing strikes and whatnot. But now with ABS, you get a challenge right, you get to retain it. So yeah, his value is definitely diminished a little bit with the implementation of ABS this year.
Right. Let's head to first base. Michael Bush. I'm going to give him a C. I think this has been the most average year from a player I think I've ever seen. He's hitting what 230 something, 12 homers or something like that. I think he's definitely been a disappointment so far this year. He's had some hot spurts, but overall, with the year he had last year, I would have liked to seen more from him in the first half.
Yeah, I have him just a notch up at a C plus. Reason being, he leads our team in walks, so he does get on base a good amount, which is obviously positive to see. But the K numbers are way up there, which is why I still have him in that C range. And obviously, like you said, like after last year's 30 plus bomb season, like that was kind of maybe I'm hoping that wasn't a fluke or nothing, but coming into this year, I was definitely expecting his slug to be a little bit more north than where it is right now at All Star break.
For sure. Let's move to second base. Nico Horner. I'm gonna
Oh
give him
man,
a
this is a tough
D.
one for me.
I'm gonna give him a
D?
D. I'm gonna give him a D, a flat D. Um,
Wow,
honestly, if it wasn't for April, I probably would have given him an F.
I mean, just because of his April and his MVP caliber start to the year, I gave Nico a C plus, and I mean he's still going to play great defense for us. Even when I don't know why his bat's been slumping lately. He's gotten out of it in little spurts, kind of like Bush has. Um, but I just felt like he hasn't like stayed true to who he is as a player at some points this year. Like do what you do best, take the ball the other way, hit with runners on. That's what he did with in the playoffs. Late down the stretch last year for us. I feel like he just got to stay true to who he is as a player, and that's being an
Hasn't been it.
extreme hit for average guy, Gold Glove defense, get on base, hit with runners on, and he's hitting 230 right now, which is a
It's
little bit
it's it's
concerning.
it's it's so disappointing. And I'm the biggest Nico lover out there, man. I really love Nico Horner, and it's honestly been the most disappointing part of this season so far. I've really hopefully he turns it around within the next 65 games, but it's just been really sad to see. Truly, it really has. Um, let's move over to the shortstop position. Dansby Swanson. I'm gonna give him a C minus. Just because his defense and that, you know, 20 game stretch that he had where he was hitting 400. I'm gonna give him a C minus.
I got him a little bit above that, a B minus, just because the clutch hitting. I mean, not all year, but in certain points of the year,
Clutch hitting.
big points of the year. I'm talking about. I know. He has produced with bases loaded. He has produced in some of the biggest opportunities that
The only
multiple
thing I can
walk-offs
come
this
off the
year.
top of my head was that A's game. That's it. Where
He's
he
second on the team in bombs right now, second or third on the team in bombs right now. I did not expect that out of Dansby. Did you?
no,
That's why I have him at a B minus.
I didn't.
He's slugging great. He's on pace for over 25 home runs right now, which is if you told me that at the beginning of the year, I'm going to take that out of Dansby every single day. And we kind of knew he's not going to be a hit for average guy. He's sitting around what like 220 right now with pretty okay. I'm gonna I don't expect 270 plus out of Dansby. Like that's just not who he is. But who he is obviously platinum glove defense up the middle with him and Nico. Um, Timely hitting, which he has been at certain points this year. But the thing I have him at a B minus for me, the slug, as in that like 20 game stretch, like you said, was absolutely huge for us. And he helped, he was part of turning this thing around in the latter half of the first half. So B
Right.
minus for me for
Okay.
Dansby.
All right. Let's move over to third base. Alex Bregman. I thought long and hard about this. I think he's been really good defensively this year. I think it's gone unnoticed. I think he's really been solid over there, but that doesn't shy away from the offense that he's provided, which is none. I'm probably gonna go C on that. C on his grade. I I think he's starting to show some signs over the past few games or so. Um, but just overall, with his expectations going into it, being the big fish in the off season, I'm going to give him a flat C.
Yeah, I'm right there. I have a C minus for Bregman. I mean, $35 million player a year. You need to be hitting above 250, and at least slugging, because he was, not going to say he was our replacement for Tucker, but he kind of was. And at very least, he's playing, like you said, solid defense. But the good news is, towards the end of the first half of the last couple of series, he's really, I think, started to find his swing. That Cincinnati series, it certainly looked like it. So we're going to need him to continue that on early in the second half, and we're going to need him big down the stretch as we gear up for an October run.
For sure. For sure. Let's move towards the outfield. Let's start with Ian. I'm going to give him a flat B. He gives Gold Glove defense. He's slugged a lot, probably his highest slugging percentage that he's had in his career. And he's not really an average guy. He never has been. He gets on base with the walks. I'm just going to give him a flat B. I feel like he's definitely slightly exceeded expectations offensively, and he's obviously one of the best defenders in all of baseball.
Yep, and we agree on this one. I've got Happer at a B as well. Like you said, the combination of slug and walks is just extremely valuable for us, and obviously that Gold Glove defense. The ground balls are a problem. The double plays, the strikeouts are a problem. But if he's going to give us, 25 plus bombs with good defense and, get on base for us, that's kind of what we need out of Ian Happ.
All right, well, center field can be short and sweet. I'm going to give Pete a flat A. I think, he's been one of, if not the best player in all of baseball this year. He deserves a flat A. I think I'd give him an A plus if there were A pluses, but I'd give him a flat A.
A plus plus if he actually got up to a fast start this year. That first like month and a half was pretty slow for him, but after that, we wouldn't be where we are right now without PCA. It's plain and simple. Like when our whole lineup was struggling, he was the one guy dragging us through every single game, getting on base. He's walking more than he ever has in his whole career right now, which is so good to see. He's seeing pitches well. Just feels like he's just superbly locked in right now at the plate. Like he's seeing everything well. He's top 3%. I have it written down right here. He's top 3% in the MLB in WOBA, which is expected on base average. So that takes into account like that weighs walks heavily, just as the same as home runs, which he's slugging a lot right now, and he's getting on base a lot. And it's not surprising he's top 5 in the league in WAR. But yeah, Pete, MVP candidate. He should be. Ohtani. We kind of need Ohtani. We don't need an injury, but like that's kind of the only hope for a, Pete MVP.
I guess it's an MVP minus Ohtani award nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's head over to right field. Seiya Suzuki. I thought long and hard about this one. I'm going to give him a B minus. I think he's definitely had stretches where he's been productive, but he's also had stretches where he's been a tough at bat to watch. And that's really Seiya. Like that's Seiya. That's who he is. That's who he has been in his tenure as a Cub, is up and down. and that's why I'm going to give him a B minus.
I've got him at a C plus. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, Joe. Up and down is the name of the game with Seiya. I mean, it feels like no matter what, at the end of the year, he's going to get to 30 bombs and, an OPS of 810 or something. It doesn't matter how he gets there, he's just going to get there, but he's going to get there in the most unconventional way possible. And that's the most frustrating part about Seiya is because he can't put together, consistency at the plate. Like his plate vision is what I thought we brought him in to, excel at. And I feel like that's been almost the worst part of his game with his tenure with us is his plate vision. It just goes, obsolete at times. Like it looks like he's got no clue what's going on up there at times. So for that, I've got him slotted at a C plus. But like I said, he's going to slug above average OPS. Pretty solid defense out of him and right. So need another big October out of him. He was slugging big time down the stretch last year. Need it again.
Need a big second half from him, really, to get this team over the hump and catch the team up north. Let's talk really quick about Conforto. I thought about this a lot. I'm going to give him a B plus, just with the expectations that he was given heading into the year. He's really gotten some big hits, if not the biggest hits for this team to date, with that walk-off, the big hit against the Mets, a lot of big hits from Conforto. And he hasn't really played much defensively, but he's honestly slugged a lot more than I thought as well. So I'm going to give him a B+.
Yep, I've got him slotted in at B plus as well. Just like you said, unbelievable off the bench. I think he's no, not I think. I know he's above 300 off the bench this year, average wise, which is incredibly valuable. And as we gear up into October, that's going to be noteworthy. Teams are going to be aware of Conforto off the bench for us. He's going to be a guy that he's going to get subbed in some big time spots in the second half, and I feel like teams are really going to start to test him. And this is one of his better years, I'd say, in the past few years. He kind of had a stinker year last year in LA, came here, and he's looked like, rejuvenated in his second half of his career, which is awesome to see.
Yep. Okay, we'll run through the because we're tight on time, the rotation and the bullpen. So obviously we got a lot of guys to go through. Let's start with Boyd. I'm going to go NA. I think I'm not going to give him a grade just because we haven't really seen him a whole lot this year. Did you have a grade for him? I did not.
I just went C plus, like pretty standard. Like I feel like NA kind of matches that like medium range for Boyd. Like he hasn't been bad by any means. He's taking the rock every time, and he's battled his ass. Holy moly, he battles his ass off on the mound for us, which you can't complain about. So, Boyd C plus.
Yeah. Okay. Shota. I'm gonna give him a B minus. I think just because, knock on wood, the best ability is availability. He's posted every fifth day, unlike any other starter in this rotation, and he's been fine when he's posted. He's again kind of similar to Seiya. Really, he's had some really good starts, but he's also gotten torched by some teams, and that's just who Shota is. He's going to give up home runs, but when he's on, he's really on, and I'm going to give him a B minus for that.
Yeah, I got him at a B minus as well. It's great to see him kind of command that fastball better this year than he was last year, because last year he was battling that hamstring, which is taken off his velo. So yeah, B minus I have. Just limit the long ball if you can, and he's going to be an effective pitcher for us.
Yep. Jamison Tyone, I'm going to give him a C minus. I mean, it's close to an NA, but I feel like he's pitched enough where he's been fine, but like nothing to go talking about. I'm gonna give him a C minus. He's been all right. I expect him back probably in that Tigers series next week, but nothing to raise your head about.
Yeah, I've got him C minus as well. JMO's gonna JMO.
Okay. We're on a roll here. We're on a roll
We
here with
are.
same grades.
The wavelength, baby.
All right, let's
I've got
move.
them all written down too.
There you
Like
go.
this
There
is
you go.
not a lie.
There you
Not a
go.
lie.
There you go. Ben Brown. We can do it together. 3, 2, 1. A.
Hey,
A. That is
yes.
a flat A. If it wasn't for his injury, we would be seeing him in the Midsummer Classic on Tuesday night. Um,
Such
it
a shame,
really
man.
was
He
such
was
a
robbed
shame.
of an.
I don't know. I expect him back sometime later this year. I don't know if that's going to be in the rotation or in the bullpen. But he's been a huge lift. And like you said with Pete, if it wasn't for Ben Brown, we probably wouldn't be 12 games over 500.
Yeah, I mean he's holding opposing hitters to a 186 batting average right now, which is quite ridiculous if you know Ben Brown lore from the past 3 to 4 years. This guy has been the most frustrating player on our team, and it's been to the point where I've give I straight up gave up on Ben Brown. I can't even lie to you. So it's been awesome to see his turnaround and for him to prove our us fan base as a whole wrong. So yeah, Ben Brown's been I think our best pitcher as a whole this year, which is awesome to see.
Okay, good. Next up, Edward Cabrera. Edward Cabrera's been up and down on the injured list. I'm gonna give him just with expectations with that big trade. I'm gonna give him a C minus. Um, I think he's definitely not been. You have a C minus, Sam?
I do,
You have
I
a C
do.
minus.
We're
We're
locked
on a
in.
roll here. We're really in tune. That's why we're co-hosts. I think
Wow.
he hasn't really lived up to the expectations that he was given at spring training. His stuff doesn't have as much life as it did in Miami last year, and that's why I'm going to give him a C minus. Hopefully, we get him back fully healthy in a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. You know the timeline on his groin or
I don't. Maybe it's probably if I were to guess mid August, sometime in mid August.
yeah.
I've heard some positive signs with him that he's starting to throw. Um, and it's before you know it, probably in a couple weeks he'll head to Iowa to make a rehab start or two. Um, but yeah, I really haven't heard an update on him. Um, Javier Assad. This is going to be the last guy for the rotation. I feel like David Peterson isn't worth a grade. Javier Assad. I'm going to give him A minus. I think
Wow.
he's
That's
really
yeah.
stepped up for this team when injuries have come around to bite this team. He's really made some huge starts. Um, the one I can think of off the top of my head is that Giants Sunday night game. They ended up losing that game, but when got hurt, and Assad came in and gave him like 6 innings of one hit, that was huge. And that's why I'm going to give him an A minus.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, if you were to look at his stats, as a normal person, you'd probably be like, "What the hell, A minus?" But no, Javier Assad has,
Would you give
done
him?
that time in. I give him B, flat B. I felt like that was fair because every year it seems like when we battle injuries, get in a tough spot like we have been in this first half, he's been the guy we kind of turn to okay, you're going to go start a game where Tyone gets scratched or something like that, or you're going to be the guy to we're in a bullpen game, we're going to throw Palmy for 1 inning, and then Assad's coming in for the next 4 or 5. Like he will do whatever you ask him to, and I feel like those are the valuable guys you want to have on your team. Assad, Ray, two guys that have just been absolute glue guys for this squad.
And then that's a good transition. We'll head to Colin Ray really quick. I'm gonna go with a C for Colin Ray, a flat C. He's had again some good starts, and he's also had some pretty bad starts. He started in the bullpen earlier this year, and obviously with the injuries that they've had, he's been in the rotation for pretty much the entire year, and he's been fine. He's been fine. He's been probably a little bit worse than he was last year, but He's had some pretty big starts as well, and that's why I'm going to give him a C.
Yep, I feel like that's a fair grade. I've got him at B minus, just a little above that, for the same reason as Assad, just an absolute glue guy for us. Will do whatever, take the rock in some big high pressure moments and deliver. So
Yep,
B
yep,
minus.
yep. All right, we'll just run through these bullpen guys real quick. Probably be like a name of a list of like 7 or 8 guys. We'll start with like kind of the injured guys right now. Hobie Milner, I'd give him an A minus. Sam,
I got a B plus.
B plus. Okay, okay. He's been solid. He's been one of their best relievers so far this year. Daniel Palencia really has been hurt this year. I'm gonna go NA there. NA. I feel like he hasn't really contributed a whole lot this year.
And I mean, when he was healthy, we weren't even giving him opportunities to come into the game. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, NA as well.
Let's head towards the guys that are currently active. Um, Ryan Rollison, with the expectations that he was given, I'm going to give him a B, maybe a B plus, probably a B. He's been in times he's been one of the best relievers on the team, and he can play a big part in this bullpen playoff push for the playoff push.
Yep, absolutely. I got B plus.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, expectations coming in. This dude was DFA'd twice last year. Pretty much written off journeyman. He's obviously come to Chicago, and it looks like he's found a home for the time being. And he's taken the ball in some really high pressure moments, and I feel like he's crumbled at times, but for the most part, he's lived up to it. And he's taken the challenge of closing for us while Palencia has been down. So he's been an absolute dog out of the pen for us.
Right. We can make this short. Phil Maton, that's a flat F.
F F
F,
F F minus.
if there was an F minus, we'd give it to him. Caleb Thielbar, I'm gonna give him a C minus.
Same here.
Just hasn't really been as good as he was last year.
Dude, he's had trouble commanding the fastball.
For sure.
I feel like last year when he was keeping it at the top of the zone, just like above the letters, at the letters, that's when he was so effective because he can just dive his 12-6 right off that. But I mean, his fastball, man, it's brutal. It's brutal.
And hopefully he gets into a groove and has some nice clean outings to start the second half. Trent Thornton, I'm going to give him an A minus. Sam?
I got B plus, baby. Trent, dog, man. I love the energy he brings.
Me too.
Love it.
Me too. He's been great. Could play a big role again in this bullpen for the foreseeable future. And then Jacob Webb, I'm also going to give him an A minus.
I got A minus as well.
Best and most consistent reliever on this team this year. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, been great. Been great. Other than like the first month, he's been fantastic. That will do it on the grades for the Cubs. Hopefully, Cubs will try to, at least win a series against the Twins this weekend. Sam and I will be there tomorrow, maybe Sunday. But yeah, you got to find a way to win this series to get the second half off on the right foot. Man, we spent 28 minutes talking about the Cubs. That's crazy. Let's move on.
For the most part, it wasn't that negative.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And it shouldn't be for a team 12 over. Sam, shouldn't be.
Yeah. Shouldn't be. But
should not be. All right, let's talk briefly. We really know how this is going to be. Moving on to the Bears edge rushing room. I'm going to read you the names for this room, starting with Montez Sweat at the top of the totem pole, and then a motivated Dio Odengbo. I'm gonna keep using that. Second year Austin, or it's not. Is this his third year? Third year.
Yeah, third year book.
Third year. Wow. Third year Austin Booker out of Kansas. Daniel Hardy, who is pretty much a special teamer. These are special teamers, guys, going forward. Jeremiah Martin, Jonathan Garvin.
Shamar
That
Turner's pretty much slotted over to edge, I feel like.
sometimes, yeah. Sam, this is probably the weakest group. Not probably, it is the weakest group for this Bears team. Not a whole lot of depth going forward. Will the Bears make a move for an edge rusher before training camp? That remains to be seen. I sure hope so. There's still a lot of intriguing names available at that position. But Sam, this is just not a threatening group.
Look, it's not a deep group, I will say that, but I really feel like people are kind of discounting Montez Sweat. I feel like he had one of the better years out of any Bears player on our team last year. And I feel like Ben Johnson came out and said that he watched his tape personally, was very pleased with Montez Sweat play. I felt like that was his best year of his career personally last
What?
year. Yeah, I really felt like that. I
Pull
really
up his
felt like
stats
that.
while you talk. Go ahead.
Do it. I felt like he was an impactful player down the stretch for us and in big moments. I feel like he was a guy we could rely on, and we had few of those on defense last year. So I feel like Montez Sweat's going to build off of the year he had last year. He's being paid $25 million to do so. Little steep, yes, I do agree with that, but I feel like his presence on the edge was
Sacks.
wildly underrated last year. Yeah, he's double-digit guy. Like you're never going to complain about that, and he fits the run solid. He's fast. He's explosive. He's powerful. I feel like his mix of power and speed is pretty rare for his size. So I'm a big fan of Montez Sweat. Now going to the other side, I really feel like going into year 3, I could get some heat for this, but I feel like Austin Booker is about to explode. This might be, rip me all you want. I feel like Austin Booker has double-digit sack potential. What I saw from him last year down the stretch was unbelievable. He's another one of those guys with the rare mix of power and speed off the edge, and that's exactly what you want out of your edge rushers. But, I'm pleased with Sweat. I'm pleased with where Book is right now. Book had 6 sacks last year, and it was year 2, dude. It takes young edge rushers a while to develop.
Last year.
Okay, and discount to it because he smacked Jordan Love. I mean, thank you for doing that, by the way.
Did he miss the first?
But he was showing. Book was showing up in big moments last year, down the stretch too. Like this was a guy who only got better as the season went on, and I'm expecting that going into year 3 as well. I'm expecting another jump. I feel like it takes young edge rushers a while to kind of get their feet under them, build their pass rush repertoire. So I feel like Book headed into year 3. I've got my eyes on him to kind of explode. And obviously he's going to get more comfortable in the Dennis Allen defense, and I'm expecting more out of the whole D-line as a whole with Dennis Allen. But outside of Sweat and Book, the edge group is really thin, and that does concern me a lot because if one of these guys goes down, we're struggling to get pressure off the edge. So I feel like a veteran move is coming in training camp. Whether we're halfway through training camp, we kind of assess, where this roster is at. But I do feel like a move is certainly coming at edge because
I would agree.
we slid Shamar Turner over to edge, a couple games into the start of last year's season, and we kind of found something with him in edge. I feel like he's more impactful off the edge than he was D-tackle just because he's a little more undersized. But I feel like you can't really rely on guys who are coming off devastating injuries such as him and Dio. Dio's getting paid $20 million, We can't expect those guys to come in this year and, perform right away off those injuries. I just don't feel like that's a reasonable ask. So I feel like a move almost needs to be made at edge personally.
If I was getting paid $20 million to rush the quarterback, I'd find my way to get at least 8 sacks. I'd work my ass off. At least he's a motivated edge rusher. I think you I hope you're right, Sam. I hope you're right. I hope Austin Booker takes over that starting edge spot over Dio Adangbo just because we drafted him
He
as
will.
young.
He already is.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. I can see him having a better year than he had last year and definitely being a candidate for the most improved player when it's all said and done. Um, but a double digit sack guy next year, I think that's a pretty tall task. Um, but I hope I'm wrong. I
Yeah,
hope.
that's absolute. I mean, and no, I'm saying that's a bold statement. I know I'm in the minority on that take, but I feel like watching his game, his mix of power, his mix of speed, he was heating up towards the back end of last year, and he's a player that only got better throughout the year. I feel like he's got a massive opportunity. To be honest, he's still on his rookie deal. Like Dio is coming off the Achilles or whatever he had. Like I don't know, man. Like I feel like Book really impressed me down the stretch last year with his play.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He had a good postseason too, I guess. And then he had a really big game against Green Bay at home. We'll see what happens. Will the Bears make a move at that position? There's still, like I said, some intriguing names. That remains to be seen. Hopefully they do. That like you said, with the injuries, one goes down, then we're really in a tough spot over there. But we'll see. We'll see. There'll be some names to watch in preseason over there, and hopefully some guys turn some people's heads. Anything you want to add before we move on, real quick, talking about Canner?
Defensive tackles will be the next episode. That's kind of where we need to take the biggest jump, I think. So, looking
Yes, sir.
forward to our next episode and discussing defensive tackle.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Um, let's finish off real quick, touching briefly. I know I made a video about it yesterday, talking about Patrick Kane. Yes, he won 3 cups with the Hawks in 2010, 13, 15. Is one of the most beloved Chicago athletes of all time. One of the most beloved athletes in my heart, just from playing hockey growing up. Really, looked up to him, and really he was definitely my favorite hockey player growing up. Chris Chelios went on the Score yesterday talking about how Kane is down to 2 teams, and that's his hometown Buffalo Sabres, and then his, I guess, would you call it second home, Chicago. Really, his home now is Chicago. These 2 teams kind of are in different spots in their in their franchise. One team is contending in Buffalo. The other team is the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks could easily make the playoffs. It's wide open in the West. They could make the playoffs, and it could help getting Kaner back home. I would be absolutely ecstatic, man, if they brought him home. It would be fantastic. I don't know if what the deal would look like, whether that's a 1 or 2 year deal. I would do a 2 year for $3 million AAV. That would be something that would intrigue me. And he's still producing. Like, he's still slightly under a point per game type of player. He will slot in that first power play unit with Connor Bedard, and we know how Kaner is on the power play. He's one of the best power play players ever, really. And getting him back home would honestly put asses in the seats when Connor Bedard is hurt to start the year. I would just be thrilled, man. I would just
I
be
mean, who
thrilled.
wouldn't, right? This dude brought us 3 cups, bro. He's
Oh,
maybe one of the
it
greatest
would be
dynasties in.
amazing. And
Yeah.
if I were to make a prediction, Sam, right now before he signs, if that's the case that he's down to 2 teams, I truly think he's going to pick the Hawks. He's got a house here. I feel like he'd want to raise his kids here, and have his life staying in Chicago.
What's what would be pulling him to Buffalo? Because I mean, I'm not a hockey guy.
Right.
Like, I
Well, it's his home
don't pay
team.
attention to anything. Like,
Yeah.
is Buffalo like a top 3 to 5 team in the league?
Well, they made the playoffs last year. They I think they won this. They won a series last year. And it's his hometown team. He's from Buffalo, New York, born and raised. And does he want to do the same thing that Taze did? Go back to his hometown for one last ride? I don't know. But yeah, I would say as much as I want the Hawks to be good next year, Buffalo's definitely in a better spot to win. But yeah, what's pulling him there is definitely going back home, being with his parents who still live in Buffalo, but he's still skating in Chicago. Like he lives in Chicago right now. He's currently living about 20 minutes north of my house in Lake Forest. So if I want to go say hi to Patrick Kane, I can do that right now. Give him a little pitch. um, but yeah, I would love him if he comes back to Chicago and I see him in a Blackhawk sweater once again. Sam, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, we need that Kaner backhand back in Chicago, dude.
We need it. We need it like Alex Bregman needs a base hit. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy City Den. We'll be back on Sunday night recapping the Twins series, previewing the Bears defensive line room, and maybe a Patrick Kane Chicago signing. Who knows? For Joey Glickman, that is Sam Van Cleve. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy City Den.